All right, welcome to part two. Now I'll explain what I mean by improper training and how that can affect your business. Now, you have to start off. There's two things. You need proper training and proper structure, and the only way to accomplish those two goals is having a meat manager who knows what the fuck he's doing. Okay? I don't give a fuck about upper management. They're not even in the fucking equation. Okay? They make their actions, decisions. If you have a good, experienced meat manager, everything else is irrelevant. So you have to start with that first. If you don't have an experienced meat manager, knows what the fuck they're doing, then I don't give a fuck. Your business is not going to be successful. You know, you can try and, come up with all new technologies and programs and fucking different ways of doing things to make their job easier, so they don't have to do their job properly. It's just not going to happen. Let me explain how proper training works, okay? And how it affects your business. So you have a meat manager who knows what the fuck you're doing. So, let's just say you have a crew that's been together for a while, and you guys are doing good numbers, places running smooth, in a real world. So this is what happens. So now you get a new employee, because let's say someone, someone left, and he was an important part of the team, and now you have to replace that person. So do you hire a full-timer? Or do you hire 2 or 3 fucking part-timers? Or do you just hire one part-timer to replace that full-time, or whatever your structure demands at the time? But now you have a new person in there. We're going to break that into 2 categories. So now you have to hire a new meat cutter, or / you have to hire a service clerk, which means they're just running around meat doing odds and ends things except for cutting meat. So you hire a meat cutter. Now, in the meat business, the amount of variables in cutting meat is fucking astronomical. It all comes down to specs. You can have one meat cutter who worked for this chain, cuts a certain kind of way, and then you have another meat cutter who works in a different chain and cuts a different sort of way. Like, you can take a top sirloin and you can cut and merchandise that piece of meat 1,000 different ways, depending on the specs of the company. So, what you need to do is when you're going to hire a new employee, you need to put in your budget what I call charge-out hours. Okay? Now, this is a lost art. This I haven't seen. Costco's never done this, and it's something they really need to do. Now, explain charge-out hours. This is what I mean by charge-out hours. So, if I'm doing my budget, I'm doing my schedule, and let's say based on, I don't know, I'll just go back to what I used to remember. We used to do around 400,000 or 500,000, and say we use, it doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't really matter. If on a normal week, say your department as a whole uses, let's say 300 hours, okay, to make that department functionable and successful. Well, when you hire a new employee, you need to take, if it's full-time, 40 hours, part-time, 24 to 35, you need to budget hours in your schedule specifically for training that employee. That you don't take that employee and he replaces an employee that you just lost. You need to invest money into that employee and that person's training. So, for example, if let's say I'm on the block and I have my training partner, he leaves. So I have to replace him, okay? So what I need to do is I need proper time to train him properly for that specific job. And that's all he has to do. He can't be going to this job and to that job and running here and fucking running there. He's going to stay beside me until he learns the job 100%. And you have to budget that into your schedule. So when he's ready, he can play anywhere in the department and he can be completely functionable. Now, you can, and you have to bring in them slowly and one at a time. Like, you can't be bringing in 3, 4, fucking 5, 6 people, don't know what they're fucking doing, and hoping that they learn the fucking job. Or that whole sink or swim attitude. Give me a fucking break. You know? It takes time to properly train an employee to have great judgment, work independently, you know, so they in turn can show someone underneath them. That's just for a meat cutter. Now, if you're looking for a service clerk, you know, this is the way it should be done every single fucking time. So you got a new part-time employee, you know, he's fucking 18, you know, he's got the problems of an 18-year-old. So you don't hire this employee and just throw them in a department and hope they fucking learn everything. You need to have charge-out hours. So you need to have, so for example, when you're scheduling, if I do a schedule and I need, I'm going to take his 40 hours, they're not going to be scheduled on a needs of the department. They're going to be scheduled on a needs of training. And what I mean by that is, let's say, okay, my service clerk, I'm going to put him with my full-time wrapper. Now, anything that service clerk does is not going to directly affect the department as far as operationally. All that person is going to do is shadow that full-time meat wrapper until that person can do that job. Then you put them on their own and schedule them wherever you need on the needs of the business. But until that person is 100% trained, you can't count on anything they do from a labor standpoint to meet the needs of your business. And that just goes on, and you just keep doing the rotation like that. Hopefully that fucking makes sense. Now, structure. Structure is so fucking important. What I mean by structure is I mean fucking pecking order. Okay, you have your senior guys and your bottom guys. All right? There's no reason for some part-timer or full-timer not to know exactly what he has to do on any given day without being told. They should know exactly what their job is day in and day out. Very simple. And very fucking simple. My job is to do this. His job is to do that. You know? Not my job is to do this, and this. You know, you need to have structure. So people know exactly where they stand all the time. They're not running around with their fucking heads cut off, wondering what to do next or how to do something properly. Who do I ask? How do I ask? You know? So I'm the head guy. So the guy under me reports to me. The guy under me, and so on and so forth. So, you know, everyone knows who everyone's boss is. Hopefully that makes fucking sense. What else could I say? You know, and another big thing is upper management getting involved in the day-to-day operations of the meat department. And COSTCO is famous for this bullshit. Famous. It's like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Get out of my fucking shit. You know? You have no idea how... there's nothing you can say that's going to fucking help me run this fucking business. Your business is sitting in that fucking office and looking at fucking numbers. That's the difference between fucking theory and fucking execution, okay? Oh, you have all the theory and all the specs and all the fucking production reports. Guess what? That means nothing because you don't know how to execute. You know, you do not know how to execute. So shut your fucking mouth and let your meat manager fucking do his fucking job. And if you have to get interviewed because you can't do his job, then you need to fire the meat manager. Okay? Plain and simple. Plain and fucking simple. But now you guys are at the point where fucking you have no experienced meat managers. I'll give you an example. The last year I was with COSTCO. Okay? They couldn't get an experienced meat manager. Why? Because no one was properly trained in the past to do that position. They just kept hiring the wrong people, hiring the wrong people, hiring the wrong people. The last year I was there, we had a deli manager run our $23 million business. A deli manager. I mean, no inclination of meat whatsoever. Like, seriously? Seriously. Like, does that make sense? You know, can you even imagine if there were other departments like ours or our region out there out of fucking, was it 700 fucking stores? You get what I'm saying, guys? You know? So the next time you look to shit on your senior staff and, you know, anyways, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that. What else do we talk about? Machines, good or bad in the meat business. Costco's famous for this, man. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't even know who come up with this shit, because, like, it wasn't a fucking meat cutter. Unfucking believable. So Costco uses a tenderizing machine. Okay, get this. Explain this to me, folks. Okay, so what it is, basically, way back in the day in the 80s, we used to do French cuts, and basically we used to use a manual machine to put a couple in, like, they're small little needles, looks like crochet needles, but small little knives that go into the meat to break the fibers up. Okay, we used to do this by hand. Now, we used to pound it maybe 3 or 4 times just to break the grain and make it a little more tender. So Costco came up with the idea they'll get a machine to do this. Okay, now this fucking machine probably hits it with, like, we used to do like 3 or 4 or 5 times to break the grain. This fucking machine must put a million fucking holes in the meat. I mean, like, it turns the grains into fucking just in the hamburger meat, as far as I'm concerned. Because when you eat meat, you want the texture. You want that. You want to taste those. You want to feel those fibers in your mouth breaking apart. You know. You don't want you don't want it tough, but you want it enough so you can still taste the texture. You know. So, anyways, their machine, like, just absolutely murders this fucking meat. You know, and they wonder why their shelf life on their fucking beef is only like fucking 1 day. You know what I mean? But let me tell you the theory behind some of this stuff. So I'll tell you this story. So we first started getting the machine in, so we're putting the meat through the tenderizer. So okay, so I got the flank steaks, right, and they would be the same texture as like hip meat. You know, it's nowhere near strip loins, ribeyes. No, you're more tender cuts and stuff that actually shouldn't be needled, but they do it anyways, which is beyond me. I just don't fucking get that. Yeah, fine, you can tenderize strip loins and ribeyes, but not to the extent that they do. Like, this fucking machine fucking murders it. So I'm putting the flanks through. So I have our regional operator managing at the time, and he comes up to me and he says, "We don't tenderize flank." And I'm like, "What do you mean you don't tenderize flank?" "Well, we don't." I said, "But why?" He says, "Well, because we don't." I said, "Yeah, but you need to break the grain of this shit. You know, like, if you're fucking tenderizing fucking strip loin or ribeye is one of the most tender cuts, I definitely should be tenderizing flank, which is a marinating steak." We don't do it. So how much sense does that make? Like, seriously? And to this day, they still don't tenderize it. You know? It's one of those meats that you have to cut on an angle in order for the meat to break apart and pull apart, and you have to marinate the hell out of it, you know? It says right there on the package, flank marinating steak, inside round marinating steak. You know, if you need to marinate it, chances are it's a good idea to tenderize it. If you don't have to marinate it, chances are you don't have to tenderize it, you know? So the amount of labor this machine costs Costco is fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyways, I'm not going to get into complexities of how this machine works, but it's just fucking stupid. But, you know, and that takes away from labor. Anyways, I'm not getting into that. We're on a machine. So, here comes the best machine of them all. They have a meat slicer. Okay? It's not a meat slicer. It's a goddamn bread slicer that they're using in the meat. So they bring this fucking thing out. And, first thing I'm saying is, okay, well, when you're figuring out your gross margin, our specs, you know, on how to properly merchandise a certain kind of meat for a certain amount of profit, which equals your gross margin. So I said, when you guys do those tests, do you use the this bread machine to do your numbers? Of course they don't. No, they have some butcher from buying come over, do the test products themselves, figure out the numbers, figure out their gross margin, and then pass it down the line. Well, you should be doing your gross margin tests on the fucking bread slicer you're using for the meat. It's just like, fuck. Hello? You know, if you have a properly skilled meat cutter doing your gross margins on your products, and you guys understand what I'm fucking saying here? Like, duh! You know? So they come to the second part. I go, oh, you know, I did the test myself, you know, because I want to know what the fuck I'm talking about before I open my fucking mouth, right? So I do a test on it, and they used to say that it's also faster too, and it's going to help your shoulder out. Okay, now I'll tell you what's both wrong with these situations. Now, if you're running in a situation, alright, sorry about that. I got a little, this camera got all fucked up on me. So, we're at the, hang on. So we're at the second reason why I was told that we have the new bread slicer. And they said, what's going to save your shoulder? You know, and I'm thinking, what do you mean save my shoulder? Save my shoulder from what? Well, from all the grinding of cutting meat. And I says, well, I don't have a sore shoulder. I know how to sharpen my fucking knife. And if you got guys out going off work, that should have been a warning sign for you motherfuckers. Not to get a fucking machine to do their job, but to properly show them how to fucking sharpen their goddamn knife and properly train the motherfuckers. Understand? It's like, you guys fucked up so bad on your training priorities. You know? Now, is there a side of this that maybe I don't see? You know, that maybe Costco had no choice to get these machines in their fucking stores for insurance purposes because all these meat cutters are going off their shoulders, so they had to do something to justify, to counterbalance that. So instead of training your meat cutters, let's just get a machine to make it easier. Then we'll have less meat cutters going off with injured shoulders and arms and fucking elbows, you know? It's like, fucking hello? Dum-dums, you know? Fuck, you know? It's just no wonder, like, it's just, unless Costco is totally cool with the fact that, you know, their net margin every month can be 2-3%. You know, if that doesn't bother the stockholders or anyone else, then by all means, guys, keep doing exactly what you're doing because you're doing a great job of that. You know? But anyways, I think that's about it I want to talk about. You know, I'm not trying to be bitter here. I'm just trying to help the other meat cutters out there understand the situation that they're in. You know, if you're like the last old school meat cutter in your department and, you know, you're trying to fucking hit your head against the wall because you look around you and you fucking see all the fucking mistakes Costco's making as a company, and your meat manager's a fucking idiot, and your fucking staff doesn't care, and people are in a bad fucking mood, you know, and the structure's so bad that people go outside a department to report their fucking problems instead of dealing with those problems as a team. You know, it's just fucking sad, you know. Real fucking sad. But unfortunately, that's the shit you guys are into now, or in 10 years, that's the situation that you're gonna be in. You know, so I hope this is a better understanding of Costco meat business. You know, when we got old school guys retiring left, right, and center, there's going to be no one to pass on the knowledge. Nobody. You know, I'm 45, and I'm pretty much the last generation of old school meat cutters as far as age-wise. You know, the guys that I have trained properly, that I left behind, you know, they know a lot more than they definitely let on. But they're in a position where it's just like, it's not worth the fucking hassle. It's not worth the fucking fight of telling these fucking idiots they're doing it wrong. You know? Anyhow, hopefully this affects you guys out there somewhat positively. Oh, I want to even tell you from I should mention this too, from a Costco member standpoint. You know, the quality you guys are going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as years go by. And there's certain dangers that come with meat cutters that don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know, that's from anywhere from not making a proper batch of hamburger, giving you the proper percentage of fat ratio that you're paying for, and not getting ripped off, which happens on a daily basis, to meat cutters not properly recognizing faults in meat, whether it be a cyst or a gland that's infected or a meat that's tainted, and they don't have the knowledge to deal with that situation, and it ends up on your fucking dinner plate. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's, you know, I know in the 20 years that I was with Costco, it was, you know, I seen the decline from day one, you know, and I fought my hardest to try to keep the standards and practices and the proper way of doing that business. You know, it's like the old saying goes, you know, if it ain't fucking broke, you don't fucking fix it there. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's it. Hopefully, these 2 videos, you guys, no matter where you are, whether you're a meat cutter, a service clerk, or you're a member of Costco, hopefully you can take something positive away from these videos. And I never have to talk about fucking Costco on one of my videos again. So, to all yous watching, you take care of yourself. Be mindful of what you're buying. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But don't be surprised if you ask a question and no one knows the fucking answer. Because that's what it's coming to. Alright guys, so take care of each other.